Good morning, people of purpose. Before the rush, before the noise, before the demands of the day begin to speak, there is a sacred moment God has set aside for you. Morning is not just a time on the clock, it is a doorway of authority. What you release at dawn has the power to shape what follows. Heaven listens closely to the first voice that rises, and today we choose to let that voice be filled with faith, alignment, and divine expectation. Today we gather under this declaration, the best morning prayer to bless your day. This is not a routine prayer, it is a positioning prayer, a prayer that orders your steps, blesses your mind, commands peace over your atmosphere, and invites God's favor to go ahead of you. As we pray together, Reze Comigo, we are not begging, we are aligning. We are not hoping, we are speaking with confidence. Get ready, because when your morning is blessed, your entire day must respond. Alignment before assignment means recognizing that before you do anything, say anything, or step into any responsibility, you must first be positioned correctly. Too many people rush into the tasks of the day without first checking their spiritual posture. They wake up already reacting, already anxious, already behind, already overwhelmed. But alignment requires intention. It is the conscious decision to pause long enough to let God set your inner order before the world demands your outer performance. When alignment comes first, the day does not control you. You enter the day with authority, clarity, and peace. Alignment begins in the unseen places. It starts with the heart, the mind, and the spirit being brought into agreement with God's will. You are not trying to force heaven to follow your plans. You are allowing your plans to be shaped by heaven. When you pray in the morning, you are saying, before I move, direct me. Before I speak, filter me. Before I decide, govern me. This kind of prayer slows the chaos and sharpens discernment. It reminds you that productivity without purpose leads to exhaustion, but purpose-driven action releases strength. Many people are busy but misaligned. They are accomplishing things but not the right things. Alignment corrects direction. It helps you distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. When you align first, you gain the wisdom to know where your energy belongs and where it does not. You stop wasting emotional currency on distractions that look loud but produce nothing. Alignment fine-tunes your focus so that when you do act, your actions carry weight and intention. Alignment also deals with identity. Before assignment, you must remember who you are. If you forget your identity, every task will feel heavy and every challenge will feel personal. Morning alignment resets your sense of self. You are reminded that you are not defined by yesterday's failure or today's pressure. You are grounded in purpose, not performance. This understanding changes how you walk into meetings, conversations, and decisions. You are no longer seeking validation. You are walking in confirmation. When alignment comes first, emotions are brought under discipline. Instead of allowing moods to dictate behavior, alignment allows truth to lead feelings. You may wake up tired, uncertain, or burdened, but alignment gives you the language to speak stability over your inner world. It does not deny reality, but it refuses to let reality dominate your spirit. You acknowledge what you feel, but you submit it to what you believe. This internal order becomes the foundation for external peace. Alignment before assignment also establishes authority. When you start your day aligned, you are not reacting to circumstances, you are responding with intention. You become proactive instead of defensive. Challenges may arise, but they do not surprise you. Opposition may come, but it does not intimidate you. Alignment positions you to speak with confidence because you are not speaking from fear or haste, but from conviction. Your words carry direction because they come from a settled place. This alignment is not accidental, it is cultivated. It requires surrender, honesty, and attentiveness. You cannot align while holding on to pride, resentment, or distraction. Morning prayer becomes the space where these things are laid down. You give up control so you can gain clarity. You release anxiety so you can receive instruction. Alignment is less about saying many words and more about yielding your will. It is allowing God to adjust your pace, correct your perspective, and refine your motives. Alignment before assignment also protects you from burnout. When you move without alignment, you rely on your own strength. When you align first, you draw from a source that does not run dry. You stop striving and start flowing. The weight of the day feels lighter, not because there is less to do, but because you are not carrying it alone. Alignment distributes the load properly so you are not overwhelmed by responsibilities that were never meant to crush you. This principle teaches patience. It reminds you that delay is not denial and preparation is not punishment. Taking time to align may feel slow, but it saves you from costly mistakes. It prevents you from speaking too quickly, reacting too harshly, or committing too soon. Alignment sharpens timing. It ensures that when you step forward, you do so at the right moment, in the right way, with the right spirit. Alignment before assignment also creates consistency. Instead of living from crisis to crisis, you begin to live from conviction to conviction. Your days become anchored, not scattered. You develop a rhythm of listening before acting and reflecting before responding. This rhythm builds spiritual maturity. Over time, you begin to recognize when something is out of alignment, even before it manifests externally. You sense when peace is missing, when motives are mixed, when direction is unclear, and you know to return to alignment. When alignment is established, assignments become clearer. You are no longer guessing what to do next. You may not know every detail, but you know the direction. Alignment gives you confidence to say yes to what is assigned and no to what is not. It gives you the courage to walk away from distractions without guilt and to embrace responsibilities without fear. You stop comparing your path to others because alignment confirms that your journey is uniquely ordered. Alignment also affects how others experience you. When you are aligned, your presence carries calm, your words bring clarity, your decisions feel grounded. People may not know why, but they sense stability around you. That stability comes from an inner order that was established before the day began. You are not easily shaken because you were anchored early. You are not easily offended because your identity was affirmed before opinions had a chance to speak. Alignment before assignment transforms ordinary mornings into sacred ground. It turns routine prayer into strategic positioning. You are not just starting the day, you are setting the tone. You are declaring that nothing else gets the first word. Not your phone, not your schedule, not your worries. Alignment claims the first moment and dedicates it to order, clarity, and direction, shaping the atmosphere you will walk into, the decisions you will face, and the outcomes you will influence as you move forward with intention, awareness, and trust. Knowing that when alignment leads, every assignment unfolds from a place of strength rather than strain, and your steps follow a path that has already been prepared, ordered, and sustained by a wisdom greater than your own, guiding you into actions that are purposeful, timely, and rooted in a posture that keeps you grounded even as the day unfolds with its demands, conversations, and responsibilities, all flowing from the moment you chose alignment first rather than rushing ahead without direction or peace. Speaking life over the day is the deliberate choice to use your voice as an instrument of creation rather than reaction. Morning words matter because they are the first instructions released into your atmosphere. Before situations form opinions about you, before people speak expectations over you, before circumstances attempt to dictate outcomes, your voice has the opportunity to establish direction. What you say early has a way of lingering, shaping thoughts, emotions, and decisions long after the words have left your mouth. Many people underestimate the authority carried in spoken words. They wake up narrating fatigue, rehearsing fear, and announcing defeat without realizing they are prophesying limitation over their own lives. Speaking life interrupts that cycle. It replaces complaint with declaration, fear with faith, and uncertainty with intentional expectation. It is not pretending problems do not exist. It is choosing not to give them the microphone. When you speak life, you are announcing what has permission to operate in your day. Speaking life requires awareness. You cannot speak intentionally if you are mentally scattered or emotionally unchecked. Morning prayer creates the space where your language is purified before it is released. Instead of repeating what you feel, you declare what aligns with truth and purpose. This shift moves you from being emotionally driven to being spiritually grounded. You may feel tired, but you speak strength. You may feel uncertain, but you speak clarity. You may feel pressured, but you speak peace. Words spoken in the morning act like seeds planted in fresh soil. They take root quickly because nothing else has yet claimed the ground. Speaking life early positions your mind to look for agreement with what you have declared. If you speak favor, you become more aware of opportunities. If you speak peace, you become less reactive to disruption. If you speak wisdom, you begin to move with discernment rather than impulse. Your declarations train your perception. Speaking life also establishes emotional boundaries. When you declare how your day will be governed, you limit the access of negativity. That does not mean challenges disappear, but it means challenges do not have unchecked influence. You decide ahead of time how you will respond. You speak patience over your reactions, clarity over your conversations, and grace over your interactions. These declarations become internal agreements that guide behavior even under pressure. There is power in hearing your own voice, affirm truth. It reinforces belief and builds confidence. Silent thoughts can be easily challenged, but spoken words carry weight. When you hear yourself speak life, it strengthens resolve and reduces internal conflict. Doubt loses volume when faith is vocalized. Fear weakens when hope is declared aloud. Speaking life is not for others to hear, it is for your spirit to align with what your mouth is releasing. Speaking life over the day also shapes the atmosphere around you. Environments respond to language, tension rises where negativity dominates, but peace increases where intentional words are spoken. When you enter a space having already declared order and favor, you carry that atmosphere with you. Your presence becomes stabilizing because your inner world was already governed by life-giving words before external noise attempted to influence you. This practice builds discipline in communication. When you intentionally speak life in the morning, you become more aware of your language throughout the day. You pause before speaking carelessly. You choose words more thoughtfully. You recognize that every statement is either reinforcing what you declared or contradicting it. This awareness leads to consistency, and consistency strengthens integrity between belief and behavior. Speaking life does not mean denying difficulty, it means defining it correctly. Instead of saying the day will be overwhelming, you declare that you have strength for every assignment. Instead of saying you are stressed, you declare that you are focused and supported. Instead of anticipating conflict, you declare wisdom and favor in every interaction. These declarations reframe experiences without ignoring reality. They give you language that sustains rather than drains. This practice also protects your mental health. Words of life counteract anxiety before it gains momentum. They interrupt negative thought patterns and replace them with intentional focus. When you speak peace, your nervous system responds. When you speak stability, your mind slows down. When you speak hope, your perspective widens. Speaking life becomes a form of alignment that keeps your inner world from spiraling into unnecessary stress. Speaking life over the day also reinforces purpose. You remind yourself why you are doing what you are doing. You declare meaning over routine and significance over responsibility. This prevents the day from feeling mechanical or empty. Even ordinary tasks take on value when you have spoken intention over them. You are no longer just getting through the day, you are moving through it with awareness and direction. This practice requires consistency more than volume. You do not need elaborate speeches, you need intentional language. Simple declarations spoken with conviction carry more power than many words spoken without focus. Over time, these declarations shape habits, influence decisions, and strengthen resilience. You begin to notice that your days feel less chaotic, not because circumstances have changed, but because your language has. Speaking life also impacts how you handle setbacks. When unexpected obstacles arise, your first response is not panic because you already established trust and confidence early in the day. Your declarations act like anchors, keeping you steady when things do not go as planned. You remember what you spoke, and that remembrance keeps you grounded rather than shaken. When you speak life, you take responsibility for your influence. You recognize that your words shape not only your experience, but also the experiences of those around you. You become more intentional in conversations, more thoughtful in responses, and more aware of the energy you bring into spaces. This responsibility is not heavy, it is empowering. It reminds you that you are not powerless in shaping the tone of your day. Speaking life over the day is a daily decision. It is choosing to participate in the outcome rather than passively enduring whatever comes. It is using language as a tool for alignment, stability, and purpose. Each morning becomes an opportunity to reset, refocus, and reaffirm what will govern your steps, your mindset, your reactions, and your interactions as the hours unfold, as conversations arise, as responsibilities demand attention, as challenges attempt to disrupt peace, and as opportunities present themselves. all moving under the influence of words that were intentionally released to guide thought, emotion, and action, shaping the rhythm of the day through language that sustains clarity, confidence, and intentional direction rather than confusion, fear, or reaction. Inviting divine order and favor is the intentional act of opening your day to governance beyond human limitation. It is the recognition that life flows best when it is not managed solely by effort, intellect, or experience, but when it is ordered by wisdom that sees beyond the present moment. Many people start the day trying to control outcomes, manage variables, and anticipate problems, but divine order shifts the focus from control to alignment. It acknowledges that there is a higher intelligence capable of arranging timing, connections, opportunities, and outcomes in ways you could never engineer on your own. Divine order brings structure where there would otherwise be confusion. It organizes thoughts, priorities, and movements so that energy is not wasted on disorder. When you invite this order in the morning, you are asking for your steps to be arranged, your conversations to be purposeful, and your decisions to be guided. You are no longer moving randomly from task to task. You are flowing through the day with intentional sequence. Things begin to happen in the right order, not necessarily the easiest order, but the one that produces growth, clarity, and forward movement. Favor operates alongside order. Favor is not luck or chance. It is advantage that comes from alignment. When you invite favor, you are inviting access, efficiency, and support that exceed effort alone. Doors open that you did not force. Help arrives without manipulation. Resistance lessens where it once felt constant. Favor does not mean absence of challenge. It means presence of grace within challenge. It means you are not facing the day unsupported or unseen. Inviting divine order and favor begins with surrender. You release the need to have everything figured out before you begin. You acknowledge that your perspective is limited, but your willingness to be guided expands what is possible. This surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It frees you from the pressure of perfection and allows you to operate with trust. You begin the day knowing that you do not have to anticipate every obstacle because guidance will meet you as you move. Order also affects timing. When divine order is invited, you are less rushed and less delayed. You are where you need to be when you need to be there. Missed opportunities become fewer because you are not distracted by things that are not assigned to you. You are less likely to say yes to distractions and more confident saying no to what does not align. Timing becomes a form of protection, keeping you from unnecessary stress and misalignment. Favor influences relationships. When favor is present, interactions carry ease rather than tension. Conversations flow with understanding. Misunderstandings are minimized. Even difficult discussions are handled with wisdom rather than conflict. Favor does not remove differences, but it softens hearts and creates space for resolution. You find that people are more receptive, more cooperative, and more willing to extend grace, not because of manipulation, but because alignment attracts harmony. Inviting divine order also establishes peace within the mind. Mental clutter decreases when priorities are divinely arranged. You stop replaying unnecessary scenarios and overthinking outcomes. Peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the presence of trust. When order is established internally, external demands feel manageable. You are able to focus on what is in front of you rather than being overwhelmed by everything at once. Favor influences outcomes in subtle but powerful ways. Tasks that normally take longer are completed more efficiently. Delays that would frustrate you instead redirect you. Mistakes that could have been costly are avoided. Favor works quietly, often unnoticed, until you reflect and realize how much was handled on your behalf. This awareness builds gratitude and deepens trust, reinforcing the desire to invite order and favor again and again. Inviting divine order and favor also reshapes expectations. You stop bracing for disappointment and start anticipating alignment. This shift does not create entitlement, it creates confidence. You approach the day believing that things can work together for good, even when circumstances are challenging. This expectation influences attitude, and attitude influences experience. You are less defensive, more open, and more adaptable. Order provides boundaries. It keeps you from overextending, overcommitting, and overexplaining. When your day is ordered, you recognize when to rest, when to act, and when to wait. You understand that not every opportunity is an assignment, and not every request deserves your energy. These boundaries preserve strength and prevent resentment. You are able to give fully where you are meant to be present, rather than being drained by unnecessary obligations. Favor also affects confidence. You walk differently when you believe support is already in place. You speak with assurance rather than hesitation. You take steps of obedience without fear of being abandoned in the process. Favor removes the feeling that you must prove yourself at every turn. You are free to operate authentically, trusting that alignment carries its own credibility. Inviting divine order and favor each morning creates a rhythm of dependence that strengthens resilience. When challenges arise, you are not shaken because your foundation was set early. You remember that the day was entrusted to a wisdom greater than your own. This remembrance keeps you grounded in uncertainty and steady under pressure. You respond rather than react, guided rather than driven. Order and favor together create momentum without strain. Progress feels natural rather than forced. You are not pushing against resistance constantly. You are moving with purpose. Even when effort is required, it does not feel depleting because it is supported. You begin to notice that the day unfolds with less friction, not because life is easy, but because alignment reduces unnecessary struggle. Inviting divine order and favor is also an act of humility. It acknowledges that success is not self-generated. It creates space for gratitude and reflection. You recognize that achievements are not solely the result of hard work, but of guidance, timing, and grace. This awareness keeps pride from taking root and keeps the heart teachable. This practice transforms how you perceive challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as interruptions, you begin to see them as part of a larger arrangement. You trust that even disruptions have a role in shaping outcomes. This perspective reduces frustration and increases patience. You are able to remain open rather than resistant, trusting that order is still at work even when the process feels uncomfortable. Inviting divine order and favor each morning is not about controlling the day. It is about consecrating it. You set it apart for intentional living rather than reactive survival. You enter the hours ahead with confidence that guidance will meet you, support will surround you, and alignment will sustain you through decisions, conversations, responsibilities, and transitions as the day unfolds with its layers, demands, and opportunities, all moving within a framework that has already been entrusted to wisdom, grace, and intentional direction rather than chance or disorder.